What's up? I'm going to do a walkthrough video to get onboarded onto Deezy's Sat Hunter tool. So this is a great tool and it makes hunting for rare sats extremely easy. The only thing with it is first of all, you need some liquidity, and second of all, you need about an hour, hour and a half to get it set up. The setup is simple. You don't need code to do it, but you do need some time and some liquidity. So I'm on Deezy.io's website and the Sat Hunter page. So Sat Hunter gives you a ton of great, awesome sats. And basically, you need an exchange account, and it will take Bitcoin from a wallet address, automatically send it to an exchange of your choice. We have many that you can choose from, and then it will automatically withdraw from the exchange. When it withdraws from the exchange, it scans to see if you have any rare sats in that UTXO, and then it pulls those rare sats out of the UTXO into your rare sat wallet, all while doing this automatically, and you get notified on Telegram. So Telegram's an optional step, but it's awesome because you get to find out exactly what sats you're finding. So to get started, we have this easy no code option and this document that I have written up. It's very detailed. We will be going back and forth from this document to follow along, and this will probably be on our website in a little bit more of a walkthrough format, but right now it's just all in Google Docs. So to get started, first you will need a new native SegWit wallet. I'll walk you through that in a moment. You'll need a fresh wallet for rare sats. Either Xverse or Unisat works. We recommend Xverse just because their wallet recognizes rare sats. And then you'll need a Deezy API tool key, which you can email support@deezy.io to get one. And that's all you need to do. We'll just send you one right over. Again, Telegram's optional, but we recommend having it so you get notified along the way. You'll also need an account with an exchange. Kraken is our go-to because they understand what sat hunting is. They're really open to extending the withdrawal limit if you email their support team, and we found some great sats through them. And lastly, you'll need Bitcoin for hunting. So 1 Bitcoin is the recommended minimum amount. More is better, but 0.5, you can still make it work. It's a little bit more like gambling because there's not enough Bitcoin that you're really cycling through in each UTXO, and then you're eating out of that with the fees as well. So recommended to do 1 Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and get started with our first step. So we'll need a new SegWit wallet. We recommend Sparrow. I already have Sparrow installed. So when you have your Sparrow pulled up, you'll hit File, New Wallet, and I'm going to call this Sat Hunting. Doesn't matter what you call it. This is just for you. So native SegWit is the script type that automatically comes up. We're going to do a new or imported wallet. I'm going to do 12 words here, and I'm just doing this as a demo wallet, so I'm going to generate a new one. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is make sure I have all these words written down to just make sure that I can recover my seed. So now that I've written down my seed phrase, I'm going to confirm backup and re-enter words. And now I'm going to actually type these words back in. This is just a security check to make sure that you wrote down the words correctly, and that way you'll be able to recover your wallet later. So one thing as I type this out, I'm not positive that you can see my Sparrow wallet on my recording. So hopefully my talking you through it is sufficient. There's also steps in the document that should hopefully help. It's pretty straightforward. It's basically just like creating any other wallet that you've made in the past. Once you have retyped your words, you're going to create key store and then click import key store and then apply at the bottom right. I'm not going to set up a password for this, but that's up to you if you want to. Great. So once you do that, you should see the tabs on the left side turn blue, and you're going to click receive, and we are going to come back to this address. So you'll need this address, but we're going to skip it for now and come back. All right. So now for the rare sat wallet. So this is another thing you need. You might have an Xverse wallet already or a Unisat. So what we're going to do is we're going to click our extension, Xverse extension. I'm going to enter in my password. And now I'm going to create a new account specifically for the rare sats that get extracted from the UTXO. So these are the rare sats that will be found when I'm withdrawing from the exchange. So in the Xverse dropdown, I'm going to click this arrow, click create new account, select that account, and now I'm going to get a receive address. So this is connected to my Xverse wallet. It's just a different derivation path. And again, I'm going to need this address later. Right now, that's enough for now. Okay, so now we're ready to get set up with Replit. Again, when you are sat hunting, there is some risk involved. So your Bitcoin is going to the exchange, and then your Bitcoin is being withdrawn from the exchange. So one of the points of risk are whether or not the exchange shuts down and your Bitcoin is still on it. That we saw that happen with FTX. The exchanges that we're using are we believe that they are more reputable than FTX, for example, but it is a risk. So the other piece of risk is that the no code option that we're doing uses Replit, and you will need to connect your seed phrase from the Sparrow wallet that we just created into the Replit account. So if you're hunting with a full Bitcoin, you will have your seed phrase connected to Replit's state-of-the-art encrypted cloud computing, but likely you'll create a Replit account with your Google account. So Gmail might be your weak point. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to make sure that 2FA is turned on. And when we turn on 2FA in Google, for some reason, they make you put your phone number first as the first line of 2FA. But then once you put in your 2FA phone number, you can then add an authenticator app. So the recommendation is to not use your phone number, but to use the authenticator app. So when you go to Gmail, you'll click your account, you'll click manage your Google account, and you'll go into security. From there, you're able to set up two-step verification. So if you click here, then you'll enter in your password. You'll go through the process of entering in your phone number. And then once you do that, then you can add the Authenticator app. Again, that is very important. We highly recommend you use the Authenticator app. I already have that turned on, so I'm not going to walk through that step. All right. Now we're ready to get into the actual part of creating the Sat Hunter script. So first you'll go into replit.com. You can also go directly here to fork the code. It will walk you through creating an account. I already have an account, so I don't need to do that, but you can connect your Gmail now that it's more secure because you have entered in 2FA. So we're on the code. We will need to fork it. You can name it whatever you'd like, and then fork REPL. Great. So when I've done this, every time it's shown configure missing secret values. For some people, it just shows a blank screen. So what I'm going to do is I'll just hit dismiss. If this does pop up for you, go ahead and click manage secrets. But I'm going to show what it looks like for people that don't have this pop up. So otherwise, if this pops up, click manage secrets. I'm going to just hit dismiss. And you can't see it because my head, here we go. There's a tools section. So you can scroll down in the tools section and hit secrets. Now, if you didn't get that configure missing secret values button and manage secrets, this would just be empty. And you would have to hit new secret for each of these values. Now, for most people, I believe it will already have these values, at least some of them. And so this is, if I hit manage secrets, this is what would have popped up. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this index.js tab. We don't need it. And I'm going to go back to the document. All right, so we forked it, we managed secrets, we closed the index.js tab. This is what ours looks like. This is what it would look like if you had an empty page, and then you could have just hit new secret. So here are the secrets that pop up in this window. So first is our rare sat address. So this is the xverse address that we made. We're going to hit receive. It's our new account. And we're going to input our ordinals address in. And then hit add secret. Great. Our local wallet seed. So this is the seed phrase that you just wrote down in Sparrow, from Sparrow. So these are all lowercase. You are doing it separated by a space. I'll make it so I can see it too. So you're separated by a space. And then add secret. Okay, these active exchange, you can do many different ones. We're going to do Kraken for this example. So this again needs to be lowercase. And when you add in exchange secrets, which we'll come back to, you can add in for many different exchanges, and all you have to do in the code is just change the active exchange secret, and then it will change which exchange you're hunting from. We'll come back to that later. Withdrawal threshold. So this is just an amount slightly less than the Bitcoin that you're hunting with. So if you're hunting with 1 Bitcoin, you might want to set this to 0.9. And basically the reason that you would do this is because when you are withdrawing from an exchange and extracting rare sats out, it breaks up the UTXOs. So you might send like, let's say 0.2 in one UTXO to the exchange and then 0.64 to the exchange and another UTXO because you've withdrawn some. So if you had set this too low, it would just send multiple UTXOs back out to you, in which case you might be spending double on fees. So this is just a little bit less than what you're hunting with. If you're hunting with about 0.5 Bitcoin, you might set this to 0.45. If you're hunting with 20 Bitcoin, you might set this to 19 Bitcoin or 19.5 or something like that. So it's just a little bit less than you're hunting with. The Deezy API key is just the key that we sent you from support. So this is just something you copy and paste in here. I actually need to generate one, so I will pause and generate one right now. All right, generate an API key, auto RBF. We're going to set this to 1. What this does is just make sure that your transactions get confirmed in the next block. We'll come back to the Telegram bot and the max fee rate. We have this defaulted to 100. You can go ahead and just type in 100. And then for fee preference, you can also default this to medium. Again, all of these secrets are lowercase. Local wallet address. This is the first wallet address from Sparrow. So going back to Sparrow, we said we would need this address from the receive tab. This needs to be the first address. Add secret. Okay. Okay, so at this point, we have entered in many secrets. If you got the manage configure secrets and they were preloaded, right now there's only the Telegram bot token and the Telegram chat ID. However, there are more secrets that we need to add depending on the exchange or exchanges that you're going to hunt at. So going back to this tab, these are the exchange secrets. A lot of them are very similar, but some have unique characteristics. So considering we suggested Kraken, I'm going to go ahead and copy, and that's the plan. I'm going to go ahead and copy the Kraken secret name. I'm going to hit new secret. I'm going to copy it here, and I'm going to do this with all of the secrets. I can't do that. I can only do one at a time. So I have already opened up Kraken. For Kraken right now, we have a walkthrough. So if you scroll down, there's a walkthrough. While logged into Kraken, you're going to choose security, and you're going to create an API key. So again, you're going to create an API key. The picture in the document shows this, but you're going to click the top three on the left. You're going to click these two on the right. You're going to name it, and you can leave all these off, and then you're going to generate the key. I'm not going to actually do that here because this is connected to mine, my exchange. But when you actually go through and get the API key, don't click out of that window because you'll need the key, and you'll also need the API secret. So those two pieces of information will be shown when you actually go through and create the key. So when you create the API key, there will have two values. One will be the API key, and then one will be the API secret. Once you do that, you need to get your Kraken deposit address. So to do that, you go to the transfer menu. So we'll go back here, see how to get back. So we're going to go to Bitcoin network, and we're going to copy this address. That is going to be our deposit address. You will need for the withdrawal address, so you'll save that secret. I can actually input that. So this is the deposit address from Kraken. And then we're going to do a new secret, and we're going to get the, oops, I did a Binance. Here we go. Kraken withdrawal out address key. So when you're in Kraken and you get back to regular Kraken, so actually, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to regular Kraken, not Pro. Pro is where you need the deposit key. We're going to click transfer, and we're going to choose the Bitcoin network, and we're going to copy this address. So this is the deposit address. So again, make sure you go to Kraken, not the Kraken Pro, but just Kraken, transfer, deposit Bitcoin, choose the network. This is going to be your deposit address. Then we're going to scroll up to withdraw. Again, Bitcoin, we're going to add a new withdrawal address. So going back to Sparrow, the same address that you used, you're going to put in that address. And then you're going to use any name you want for the address description. And you're going to add the withdrawal address. I have one named Sat Hunting. So I'm going to have to go through the steps of confirming this in my email. But that description, I called it Sat Hunting 1. That is the value for the withdrawal address key. So I'm going to add the Kraken withdrawal address key, and it's just called Sat Hunting 1. So that's the secret name. It's not the address here, it's just that description that we named. There is another picture of this on the walkthrough. So I called it Sat Hunting 1. So this is the secret value, is whatever you named it in the description. So scrolling back up to the exchange secrets for Kraken, we are going to pretend I input the API key and the API secret. I already walked you through how to get those on your Kraken account. And then the Kraken deposit address was from Kraken's main page in the transfers. There's a walkthrough below this on how to do that. And then the withdrawal address key is just that name in the address description. So this is a similar process for all these other exchanges. One thing to note is that Coinbase is slightly different from Coinbase Exchange. Coinbase Exchange is like their pro trading software. So there's a few extra steps here. And then Gemini, another thing to note about Gemini is that when you add an API address, when you get an API key from them, it takes 7 days before you can withdraw. So you'll just need to wait 7 days for Sat Hunting if you set up one on Gemini. Another thing to note is that you can add all of these exchange secrets because in our replit, we have the ability to change the active exchange. So you can have the Kraken secrets, you can have the Coinbase secrets, you can have the Gemini secrets, and all you have to do is then change active exchange from Kraken to Gemini or to Coinbase, and it will switch for you. So one thing to note about that is you might, depending on where your Bitcoin is in the process, you might have to do a manual withdrawal to your first Sparrow receive address before you start the process. I would say that's a more intermediate step, is switching between exchanges. So if you want to just get started with Sat Hunting, just choose one of the exchanges and get set up there. And then you can always come back and add the other exchange secrets for another exchange and then switch your active exchange to one of these. All right, so we are moving right along here. Now, we did say we'd come back to these. We have the Telegram bot token and Telegram chat ID. These, again, they're optional. We highly recommend it. It's really exciting to see what sats you're finding. You can see where your Bitcoin is at the process. You'll also see if there's any errors you'll get in the Telegram bot. So what you'll do is you will open Telegram. You'll search for bot father. I already have some chats with him. You'll type /new bot, and it's going to ask you to come up with a name for your bot. The name can be anything. So I'm going to name it Sat Hunter 1 because I already have a Sat Hunter bot. And now this new username has to be unique. So this is like their handle. So I'm going to call it Craig Deezy Hunter. Craig Deezy Hunter bot. Let's see if that works. Great. Okay. So now it gives you a token. So I'm going to save this token, and that's going to be the value here. Okay, so once I add this secret, I'm going to close out of this shell tab, and then I'm going to scroll down. I'm already scrolled down. I'm going to click the shell tab here, and then I'm going to run a piece of code. So this is listed here in the doc. You can just copy it and paste and hit enter. Going back to my new bot, start. Perfect. So now I have a Telegram chat ID. So this is the secret that I need to copy in, this chat ID. So going back to my secrets tab, Telegram chat ID, copy in that value, add the secret. All right, so we are really getting close to the end of setup here. So pushover.net is an alternative to Telegram. It does have I believe it's a $5 fee. I'm not sure if that's monthly or just a $5 flat fee. So Telegram's free. We recommend Telegram. That's all I'm going to say about that. Here are the secrets that you need for pushover if you would prefer. Okay. So a couple steps here. Our code is ready to run at this point. So just to make sure that you have the most updated version, it's good to go back to shell and type git pull. This makes sure that the code is up to date. So git pull, enter, and you can see there was a few things changed, a few things deleted, a few things added, and now we have the most up-to-date code. So another thing to prepare is you can send the Bitcoin that you're going to hunt with to the Sparrow receive address. So if you were going to hunt with 1 Bitcoin, go ahead and send that Bitcoin to Sparrow. And that way it's ready for the code to run. So my code's not exactly ready to run because I didn't put in the Kraken API keys, but we're ready for the next step for you. So it costs, because you're using Replic's compute, it costs about 20 cents per day, or about $7 a month to keep the code running continuously. So the next step here is we're going to actually deploy the code, and we're going to do that on a reserved virtual machine. And you're going to set this up, and you can choose the minimum amount of virtual CPUs and memory. So then you're going to purchase and deploy, go through the payment method steps, and then we'll be ready to deploy the code. So once you've added your payment method, and at that point you're ready to deploy. So you'll have a deployments tab available at that point, and just make sure you select it to be a background worker instead of a web server before you actually do the deployment. So another thing to note is that once you have deployed your code, at that point, you can't change the secrets from the secret tab and have them be impacted in your code. So for example, if you put in all the exchange secrets for Kraken and Coinbase and Gemini, you can't just change the active exchange in your secrets tab and have that change the exchange. You actually need to edit the file in the deployments tab, and it says edit env. So that's what you'll need to click before you can make any changes to the deployment. So if you want to change the exchange, that would be the biggest reason that you would change the deployment env file. You would have to actually click in here and edit, and then you would redeploy. So that is something to note as well. All right, I think that's it. We talked about hunting for multiple exchanges. Right now, we recommend Kraken. We did this video in about 30 minutes, and it might even be trimmed down more than that. So hopefully you can do it and get started sat hunting pretty quickly. Onboarding is really not that hard. It's just a little bit tedious because there's so many different steps. So happy hunting.